Would you like access to the best advice and answers to every single question? If you ever feel stuck, confused, or you're not sure what to do, then I made this video for you. I used to spend so much time reading books, listening to podcasts, asking everyone for advice about what I should do. I wasted so much time doubting myself and questioning everything. Then I learned how to do automatic writing, and I gained instant access to all of the best wisdom, advice, and answers to all the complicated questions that I had about life and myself. By the end of this video, you're going to know the exact process that I use to tap into higher guidance so that I can access creative inspiration and get the advice and the wisdom that I need anytime I have a decision to make. My name is Sol, and I created the Living Narrative to show you how to quickly transform your story, because the story you tell becomes the life you live. It's my mission to help you activate your gifts and your purpose so that you can have juicy relationships and live an inspired, healthy, and abundant life. Subscribe and hit the bell button so that you don't miss a video. The process I'm about to share with you has helped me discover my biggest blocks and challenges when I didn't know how to ask for help or even where to turn to. This is how I started to unpack some of the things that were keeping me stuck in life. This is also a process that I use to make important decisions. It's also how I write content for Instagram really fast. And I even wrote a book in 5 days, 80,000 words in 5 days using this technique. But most importantly, if I ever get stuck or if I feel emotional or weird, or I'm just like, when we have those off days, I always turn to automatic writing to tune in to discover what's actually going on so that I can give myself what I need, understand my situation better, and make empowered choices from that place. First of all, what even is automatic writing? Well, automatic writing is accessing this wisdom that is beyond the critical thinking mind. So it's a way for you to access this self-awareness and connection to your soul, your spirit, your inner guidance. It's like, trusting your gut instinct or listening to your heart. This is a way to go beyond your mind, which is often overanalyzing and bringing up fears and worries and pros and cons lists and analyzing data. When you need to trust your gut instinct about something, or you need this internal guidance to trust yourself and trust that you're making the right decisions or that you're on the right path, this is a way to access that internal guidance. What's really powerful about automatic writing is that rather than just interpreting messages in a meditation or trying to trust a physical sensation in your body, you actually get to take that inner guidance that is always available to every single one of us, and you can see it written down. And so it kind of physicalizes it so that you can see what's actually going on in your mind, so that you can actually see your inner guidance come to life. There's many techniques to drop into this space, and I'm going to share with you the exact steps that I use to tune into my soul and receive higher guidance. Step number 1 is about the space that you're in. It's really important to find a clear space, whether it's in your office or your bedroom or a library or even outside somewhere. You want to find a space that is clear, where you won't be disturbed, where you can just let go and not worry about somebody interrupting you. And for me personally, it's important that I don't have a cluttered space. So if my desk is cluttered, the first thing I'll do is clear my desk so that I can feel like my mind is clear, my space is clear, and it helps for me to drop in and forget about the rest of the world. Do not attempt this, especially if it's your first time, in a place that feels heavy or cluttered with stuff. Once the physical space is cleared and set, then it's time to clear your mind. So I personally do this by putting on a song and dancing. I like to move my body in any way that feels good, usually an upbeat song. And then after that song, I'll sit down and do long, deep belly breathing for a second song. Usually some kind of like ambient or background music like rain or something that just feels really relaxing. And the whole idea here is just to get out of your head and into your body. So dance for one song and then close your eyes and focus on your breath for long, slow, deep belly breathing for one song. Step number 3 is to get yourself some headphones. I personally like these comfy, squishy ones that go over the ears, noise canceling headphones. You can search on YouTube or Spotify or anywhere else you listen to music for binaural beats. And basically what it is it's putting a different frequency in each ear, which entrains your mind. And for me personally, I love listening to Magnetic Minds. There's a couple of tracks on YouTube that you can find for free. And I love listening to them. And I listen to the same one every single time. And it always drops me into this space so that it's like a trigger. I've created an anchor that every time I hear this, I'm immediately receptive and my fingers just move. So if you want to listen to music, you could also listen to classical music, just something that triggers you to get into this space, and do it every time. Music changes your brainwaves and prepares you for creativity, inspiration, and meditation. Another little trick is I love rosemary essential oils. So sometimes I'll put them in my diffuser, or just like put a couple drops on my wrist or maybe around my neck, just somewhere where I can create another anchor that helps me to drop into focusing. And I just love rosemary. I'm curious, do you listen to binaural beats? Do you have any favorite channels on Spotify or YouTube? Any playlists that you listen to, whether it's for focus or meditation or going to sleep? I really love sharing resources, so I'd love to know in the comments if there's a channel or a playlist that you listen to. Step number 4 is all about intention. So you want to set your intention. What is your desired outcome from this writing session? So you can think of intention as an arrow pointing towards a target. When you have a clear intention, then your mind, your soul, your spirit knows what we're all going and aiming for. So first, set your intention. Do you want to write about a character in a story? Do you want to write to discover more about yourself? Do you have a decision to make and you want to gain clarity on one of the options? Do you want to know what's holding you back? Choose a clear intention, and then you're going to call on support. You're going to call on support from yourself, from your spirit. Maybe you want to call on support from your ancestors, from God, from your spirit guides, from angels, whatever energy it is that you want to tap into. And even if you feel like nothing's happening, just trust that you've been heard and go on to the next step. Step number 5 is all about sitting down with your pen and paper. I highly recommend that you start with a pen and paper if this is a new practice for you. I did that for about 2 years. I now use my computer. I close my eyes and my fingers just take over when I'm typing. But I think it's really important to start with pen and paper when you're doing this practice, because your hands are connected to your heart and it really physicalizes it for you. So take a pen that is either like a gel pen or something that's really smooth so you don't get a cramp. Because when I first started, I would get a cramp all the time. I would even get dents in my fingers. So I highly recommend finding a really smooth pen for this practice. Step number 6 is all about dumping your mind onto paper. So just before you get to your specific intention, if you're new to this, you might want to just get your thoughts out. So maybe take a page or two and just write as fast as you can without stopping. Write whatever comes to your mind. This is a silly practice. I don't know what I'm doing. What if it doesn't work? I have no idea what's going on. I feel sad and tired. I'm bored. What if I can't write the book that I want to write? Just let all of your thoughts come out. And eventually you'll reach a point where you're kind of tired of it. You're like, oh, okay, I got it all out. It's like a little mind purge. And once you've done that, then you could come to your intention. Which leads me to step number 7, which is asking a question. After you've dumped your mind onto your paper, write a specific question at the top of your page. And it's helpful to write questions that will gain you insight into something. And I recommend doing something that is personal. For example, maybe you want to ask, why do I create a lack of abundance in my life? Or what would it take to call in a soulmate relationship? Something that's open-ended, that's not a yes or no question, something that will allow you to keep coming back to the question as you answer. So write the question at the top of the page. And then the next step is just start writing. Step number 8 is just write. Take your question. Let's say you're calling in a soulmate relationship. Write the question in the answer. To call in a soulmate relationship, what you need to know is, and then continue writing. I like to write as if it's my higher self speaking to me who's asking the question. And so I'll keep coming back to it. I'll write and I'll write and I'll write and I'll see what comes out. And if I ever feel stumped, I'll say it again. To call in a soulmate relationship, what you need to know is, or what you need to do, or, the information that's important. And after you do this a few times, keep coming back to it. Even when you feel like you've answered what you expected to answer, keep coming back to the question and start a sentence with the question in mind. To call in a soulmate relationship, what you need to know is, and every time you start with that, words will follow. And trust it. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about if you repeat yourself. Nobody's going to read this. Don't worry if you can hardly even read your writing. You don't really need to reread it. It's just the act of connecting with your higher guidance, because once you write it, then you know it. Some people like to sit in silence, close their eyes, and wait for a word or wait for some kind of a prompt to come through before they start writing. But personally, I just move my hand until answers come. I just get moving. And over time, what I've been able to notice is the difference between my habitual mind answering things and the voice of my higher guidance. And that's such a powerful thing to recognize, because then I can tell where I'm making decisions from. And the more you practice this, the easier it becomes. And the key is to not get into your head and analyze what's coming through. Just go through it. This will stop your mind and your ego from doubting what's coming through. If you find that you're doubting yourself a lot and the voice of the inner critic is really loud and preventing you from hearing your own inner wisdom, go to thelivingnarrative.com and download my free hypnosis recording, which will help you to shrink the voice of your inner critic and install irresistible confidence so that you can trust what's coming through. The link is in the description, or you can go to thelivingnarrative.com to download it. Check out my first podcast episode if you want to learn more about how I transformed my story from scarcity, anxiety, and addiction to creating a life that I absolutely love. Also, check out this video if you want to learn how to permanently put an end to self-sabotage. And hit the subscribe button and the bell button to be notified every time I post a video on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'll see you in the next episode.